We call back to order the October 12th, 2023 meeting of the Palm Desert City Council, successor agency to the Palm Desert Redevelopment Agency and Palm Desert Housing Authority. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Harnick.
Here.
Councilmember Nastandi.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla.
Present.
Councilmember Truby. Here. Mayor Kelly.
Here.
All councils present.
This is a very somber time. The news, which has been emerging this past week from Israel, shocks the conscience and tears at the heart. It is frankly difficult for me and for others to conduct business as usual. And yet, it would seem that perhaps the best we can do is to contribute to a compassionate and peaceful community in this time and place, and to recommit to mutual support of each other, which makes it a perfect time to state the Pledge of Allegiance, after which Councilmember Harnick will inspire us.
Join me as we honor our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon. Adding to what the mayor said, it was 2 weeks ago at our meeting that we had two gentlemen from Chabad who came to speak about understanding, about listening, about learning about each other and the efforts they were making, and also to wish us Shana Tova, which is a good year. And then just a little over a week later, we heard the news that we heard. And as the mayor said, it tears at our hearts, the atrocities we've seen, the screaming to kill Jews, to annihilate Israel, and to annihilate America. So we have a lot to think about. And in times like this, we do feel helpless. And seems like there's very little we can do. But we can be kind to one another. We can be gracious to one another. And we can extend learning, understanding, and listening to each other. And we can be better than what we see is happening. So I will again wish you all Shana Tova. Thank you.
Thank you. Any report from closed session?
There's no reportable actions taken at the closed session this afternoon. Thank you.
Before we begin the awards, I want to feature that there is a recommendation to postpone item 14D to our next council meeting. That is the action item concerning the aquatic center. So if you are here to give public comment on that item. It is my expectation it will be continued to the next council meeting. So, turning back to awards, I would like to call forward all representatives of our Palm Desert planning staff to help us celebrate Community Planning Month. Successful communities do not happen by accident. They require extensive behind the scenes work, which starts with our planning department. Council gets to take credit for adopting a general plan, but the work starts with the planning department and implementation hinges on the planning department. So when you see well laid out streets, conveniently located commercial sites, a mix of housing at different price points, parks throughout the city within walking distance, these are the folks you have to thank. So, whereas planning is vital to manage growth in ways that enhance quality of life for current and future residents, and whereas Palm Desert's approach to planning has always invited residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community. And whereas we celebrate the longstanding commitment of residents, businesses, elected officials, and staff to excellence in planning throughout Palm Desert. And whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States, affording an opportunity to thank and celebrate the tireless efforts of planning staff. Therefore, this October 2023 is Community Planning Month. So who would like to say a word? They elected you.
It really should be all of them that speak. Just really happy to be part of the community, and a lot of our folks are behind the scenes, as the mayor indicated, and so just wanted to really celebrate and recognize all their hard work. So thank you.
I think we have a photo. So. That was fun. And would you like to introduce our next presentation?
Certainly. We have a presentation tonight from the McCallum Theater as part of our overall sponsorship agreement. We have asked that McCallum Theater representatives come in and give us an idea of what they're doing for the year and how our partnership is working, and just provide a report back to the council and the community as far as how things are working between the two entities. So I'd like to invite our representative from McCallum up.
Mayor Kelly and members of council, my name is Mitch Gershenfeld. I'm the president, CEO, and artistic director of the McCallum Theater. And I'm here to thank you for the incredible support that we have received from the city of Palm Desert. We're concluding the fifth in 6 years of a funding agreement with the city. And we're very, very happy to say that the McCallum Theater is very, very strong, both artistically and financially, and continues to provide resources to the community, both in terms of the presentations that we put on our stage and the educational opportunities we give to our children. I should say that while the McCallum was closed for almost 2 years, our education program created an online component, and they were sending out to the schools our arts programs and arts participation by the students, even when it was done remotely. So now that we're able to bring children back into the theater, we have a full schedule of programs, and already we've had over 4,000 students in the theater participating in arts programs. So we're very, very proud of that. We have just a little bit about the impact of the McCallum Theater on the community. According to the Americans for the Arts, which has a calculator that you can calculate the economic impact, for the city of Palm Desert, the McCallum Theater provides just under $20 million in economic impact annually. And the Department of Tourism in California indicated that 35% of the McCallum revenues come from patrons whose homes are beyond a 50-mile radius. So we are getting a good percentage, not only of local people, but of people who are visiting throughout the season. And we have a number of collateral materials. We've been working very closely with the city's marketing department. And one of the things that came out of this partnership that we entered into a few years back is our choreography festival, which has been very, very successful, has been bringing in some of the top choreographers in the world. It is now the Palm Desert Choreography Festival, and you can see some of the collateral materials. There we go. So this is part of the branding of the choreography festival. We can continue with the other slides. You can see this is always part of our marketing is the Palm Desert component. This is part of the program. We also have some advertising. Would be the next slide. There we go. Some advertising and things from the program. Also in our list of donors, and this is in our main program brochure that is given to patrons at every single performance. You can see that the city has recognition. And also in the theater, if you've been into the lobby of the theater, you know, we have our wonderful donor wall, and the city of Palm Desert, as one of our major donors, is very prominently displayed. Another thing that I thought was so much fun is part of this marketing agreement, the city wanted us to provide an Instagrammable moment. And this was a discussion that went on for quite a while. We were trying to figure out what would be an Instagrammable moment. And we hired a wonderful mural artist, and she created this mural, which is now on the side of the building. And we're getting a lot of people participating, doing selfies, tagging the McCallum, tagging the city of Palm Desert. So that's a fun item that we're looking forward to having for many, many years. We also participate in some of the city programs where the side of our building is lit up, and we did a gobo on the side of the building for the Hunger Action Month. And coming up on November 4th, we are partnering with the city to present the United States Army Jazz Ambassadors. This is the jazz band of the U.S. Army, and they're going to provide a concert on November 4th, and the tickets are absolutely free to the public. The city of Palm Desert is participating with us by distributing tickets. This is not to any cost to the city, but this is something that we wanted to bring the city in. The people can get tickets through City Hall. It may be sold out already, but we're hoping that we see many, many people from the city and from around the region at this concert on November 4th. So again, thank you very, very much for your support. As I said, we're approaching the final year of our agreement. I may be coming to you at some point to talk about another agreement, but that will come later on. I just wanted to tell you that the support from the city has been very, very meaningful, not just financially, but sort of existentially, because we are part of the city. And I think that when people think about the city of Palm Desert, of course you think about, playing golf and you think about shopping, but there's some great arts activities in this city, and we're just very, very proud to be part of that. So thank you very much. If there are any questions.
We certainly thank you personally for your excellent work, and thank the McCallum for our collaboration. Those cultural opportunities you spoke of are always in my inventory of reasons to love Palm Desert. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
City manager comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Just two quick introductions. I wanted to take a moment and just reintroduce Lieutenant Dan Porras from RCSO to the council. Dan has had the interim title taken away and is now our permanent lieutenant on the contract. So we could not be more thrilled with that, and really appreciate Sheriff's Department for listening to us and our request to keep him on the account. So wanted him to say hi, and he's been great to work with. So.
You look very different
I do.
now that you're permanent.
I did grow a beard for a little while, but Mayor, council members and staff, thank you. I'm excited to be permanently part of the team. As you all know, that I've been working with the city and the staff, and I'm looking forward to continue to build on those relationships and create new ones within the city. I have enjoyed meeting the public at various events that the city sponsors, and I invite the public to continue to engage with the Sheriff Department and the city in order to better serve them. So thank you very much.
Did you have something?
I just wanted to say welcome and thank you.
And I would like to also introduce Daniel Hurtado. Daniel was recently promoted from our code compliance department to our new emergency management coordinator position to take over from Mindy Escada, who moved back to Northern California. So Mindy has been working with him on a training plan and trying to download everything that she was working on, so we can minimize the loss of information. But we're super excited about Daniel's promotion and wanted also to introduce him to the council.
Good afternoon, Mayor Kelly and council members. I've been part of this beautiful city for 3 years, and I served as a code compliance officer. So I look forward and happy to continue to serve this beautiful city. So thank you.
Well, and congratulations. We love to see people get new opportunities. We hope you won't be tested too soon. So get ready.
You have a great team here, so we can tackle anything. Thank you.
Nothing further, Mayor. Thank you.
Mayor and council member reports and requests for action, starting with council member Truby.
Okay, not a whole lot to report. Got to say, probably the best part of the last 2 weeks since our last meeting was I was able to attend the mini muster at Washington Charter School, and it was just a lot of fun. It's been going on for 20 plus years, I believe, here in Palm Desert. Historical Society helps promote and put that on. And watching the fire department interact with those kids and the excitement of the kids and watch them learn about your job and how important it is. It was just a ton of fun. So grateful for the opportunity. That was a great experience, and want to welcome both Dans to the team. Lieutenant Porras and Dan at Emergency Services. So glad to have you on board. Look forward to working with you.
Councilmember Harnick.
Well, thank you. Just a couple things also. I've attended California Forward, which is a statewide economic organization. That was today, and it also will be tomorrow. I did have to leave a little early because it turns out I have city council. So I will be back there though tomorrow. They've done a great job of really looking at what we need to do to work together to get the economy where it needs to be, and from the ground up. So that was a lot of great information. The other thing at Riverside County Transportation Commission, RCTC, we rolled out yesterday the traffic relief plan, which is for the entire county of Riverside. And it includes everything from the safety elements, which is sidewalks or grade separations. It includes active transportation and uses a lot of advanced technology. And one of the programs they are looking at in a very limited area, I believe it was on the 15th, is a smart freeway, which uses a lot of technology. And it's a method of traffic control that's used in Australia, and the Southern California Association of Governments did go over there and experience it. It seemed to be very successful. We are going to see if we can use it on our freeways, because certainly good implementation of technology to control traffic is far superior to building more freeways. So we'll see how that works, but it was exciting, all of the efforts that have been made in this traffic relief plan. The only thing we really are working on now is how do we get the funding to make sure it all happens. But RCTC generally comes through, so we'll see how this works. And Saturday is Paint El Paseo Pink, which is Desert Cancer Foundation. So be there. It's a great organization. The funds stay local. It helps our community members, and it's a fun time also. So we hope to see you there on Saturday.
Councilmember Nastande.
Thank you, Mayor. Call for action, perhaps. As we all have experienced very, very windy conditions and dust blowing everywhere, and, you know, difficulty being outside during these dust storms. And of course, we're trying to promote healthy lifestyle, go outside and exercise. And hopefully this is not a trend where we're going to have these dusty days more and more, hopefully not. But I would like to revisit our landscape approval plans as we are building out new developments. And not only do we, have a water drought tolerant plant palette plan, I would like to make sure we also have something that's looking at what we can do to mitigate dust in these landscape plans. If there's things we can do to mitigate at least the dustier conditions in the neighborhoods themselves and commercial development.
Councilmember Harnick.
Thank you. A lot of that was addressed at CVCC, at the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission. And it's not just the dust here, it's the silt that came down from Mission Creek. So this was a unique experience that we've all had, and it's going to be a long time. But what I think the request rather than looking at just what we're doing at our front yards, there's a much bigger issue, and perhaps we could have somebody from CVCC, CVAG, give us a presentation to help explain what we are dealing with.
That would be great.
Other support, including such a presentation?
I would support a presentation and agree with Councilmember Harnick. This is going to be an ongoing issue because we lost the top layers of sand, and it's not something that we can regrow in any time soon. So I think a presentation would be wonderful.
Very good. I'll collaborate with the clerk to arrange for that. Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. I would like to call attention to a few community events. On the 14th, we've got the NAMI Walk, the National Association for Mental Illness. So I think we all know someone that may be suffering the effects of the pandemic. I think those are ongoing. So it comes in many ways, many shapes, many people. So please consider joining. UC Riverside is having an open house, and that's the opportunity to meet with financial aid officers, student organizations, representatives from the different majors. So they are coming to us. It's a great opportunity for students in high school and anybody of all ages looking to get back to school. During the last week, I had the opportunity to tour North Palm Desert and look at the infrastructure, what we've got going on, what needs to happen, and the plans for the future. And I'm proud of what Palm Desert has been doing to mitigate that and looking ahead. We can't control the weather, but we can hope to have the best response possible. I attended a couple of community engagement activities. So I've been answering questions on districts. I was present at an HOA meeting along with our city clerk to get some information to residents and clear up that you don't need to draw a whole map yourself. I attended the Coachella Valley Filipino Cultural Festival. There was great food, and hopefully we can get some of them at our festival. And I think it was, as Council Member Harnick mentioned, there was a lot of information at the luncheon we had in regards to the business impacts. And I found a few things that would be beneficial for anybody listening about starting your business, or maybe as they come forward to the city, if we can find some tools to help them be more successful. They mentioned that a lot of the small businesses, what they struggle most are having access to capital. They don't know how to get loans, and they use their own money. They're struggling with the higher cost of starting wages and the concerns about the economy. The desert has seen a higher growth in small businesses, where the Inland Empire and across California, they've been declining. So happy we've got a lot of that going here. And I'm proud to say that at these different events, we can share that Palm Desert is ahead of the curve with housing, because there's so much growth. The inflation is hitting families terribly, where in 2019, the average mortgage was $2,300 and now it's $5,100. So lots of things to consider, how Palm Desert is in a good shape and offering housing of different price points so everyone can be here. And the takeaway that really struck me most from all of that is something that we can all relate to. He said, hope is a renewable energy that cannot be denied. While we talk about sustainability, we talk about the future, we don't always talk about the personal hopes that we have that continue to drive us forward. He said we should be futurists and looking to 20 and 50 years ahead, but we have to take that time within ourselves to see what hopes we have. And again, remember, our hope can keep regenerating and it will never be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you. I have not so much a request for immediate action, but for potential future action. My colleagues will probably recall a public comment from Mr. Ziegler recently, who urged us to be aggressive in looking for power sources that are not dependent on the grid. And since then, he has passed on some information about a development in Menifee, which is supported by its own microgrid complements of solar and large-scale batteries. So I will pass that information on to you, Mr. Heilman. And I would encourage us, as we envision possibilities, especially for the mall that include mixed use, to think about whether it could potentially be a site for a cutting edge microgrid that would include power supply for charging stations. So said, receive nods, yes.
I support.
So I'll pass on that information. Please.
One that I forgot related to news that happened during the pandemic. Unfortunately, Manor Care impacted it was a residential facility, and I guess a lot of their facilities statewide, they're under investigation, and the Attorney General will be here on October 24th at 1:30 p.m. and is asking for public comment or public information. So if you know anyone that was impacted by Manor Care, you can reach out and I can follow up with that. But October 24th at 1:30 PM at the Manor Care location. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Makia, you had an announcement.
Yeah, I just wanted to inform the community that we'll be holding a second map drawing workshop related to redistricting on Monday, the 16th at 5 o'clock, and it'll be via Zoom. This will be where the demographer will demonstrate the city's redistricting website as well as the online mapping tool. And just a note that November 1st is the deadline for any community submitted maps. Thank you.
Thank you. We have at least one resident who's been very eager for us to get to public comment. So we are now at the place for non-agenda public comment. If you're here to speak to one of the agenda items, I'll call for that as we reach the item. This is the time to speak to topics which are not on the agenda. We won't be able to engage you in conversation because of state law requiring us to give notice before we discuss things publicly. Could you please give the logistical instructions?
For those on Zoom, if you want to participate in public comment, please click the raise hand button on your phone, smartphone, or computer. If you're joining by calling in on your phone, please dial *9 to raise your hand, and when called upon, press *6 to unmute yourself, and please keep your comments to no more than 3 minutes. Thank you.
We have a request to speak from Ms. Linda Salas.
Thank you. I have a few questions for the council. It's in relation to one item. My understanding is that there's a restriction among the council that you need to be attending meetings by Zoom limited to 20%, no more than 20%. And it's come to my attention that the councilwoman Gina Nastandi has been spending much of her time in another state, in Florida. So my question in relation to this is, considering that she may have spent more than 20% of her time on Zoom, when will that become illegal? And if her votes were from Florida, where she's been staying, will that be illegal? And do any of the votes cause any conflict of interest, since her work and home locations have been changed in the last year? The last question is, how does the council deal with that? Okay, thank you.
I will ask the clerk to reach out to you after this meeting to explain our procedures. He has been assuring compliance with applicable state rules. So I will have him reach out to you to answer your questions. Does anyone else wish to make public comment?
We have one on Zoom with the phone number ending in 615.
Yes, hi. Thank you very much. My name's Brad Anderson. I currently live in the city of Ransom Mirage, and I just wanted to make a few comments. Hopefully I will keep you too long. I'm glad somebody's asking about the remote meetings, because that's a big issue with me too. And if the city council doesn't answer your questions, I can certainly answer them. So I wanted to speak on, since your city is going to districting and drawing up maps and doing all the procedural issues that you have to deal with, I would recommend that you also look at all your boards, councils, committees, and I guess commissions, and consider reappointing or allowing people to submit for reappointment if they wish to, if they desire to serve again. Just because, I want to issue a warning, I guess. The mosquitoes have been increasingly worse every year. And you have a trustee, Mr. Doug Walker, that's been on the Mosquito and Vector Control District board for 16 years, I believe now. So I think it's time that maybe another reappointment may be considered by this council for that position. And that's all I have. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
No other public comments, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Which brings us to the consent calendar. Does anyone request to remove anything from consent? Or to make a motion?
I motion to approve the consent calendar as it stands.
I will second that.
Please vote.
Councilmember Harnick,
I am not getting anything on my screen, but I vote in the affirmative.
motion passes 5-0.
Item 14A.
If I may, real quickly, I just hit the screen. It just says offline on my screen, so I'm unable to vote on the screen. I'm sorry? It just says offline. Thank you.
If Councilmember Arnick's system is not working, should we shift to voice vote?
We should.
Okay. Item 14A, award of contract number HA 46390 for affordable housing compliance and property management services to Falkenberg, Gilliam and Associates, Inc. for a 5-year term with an initial annual cost for calendar year 2024 in an amount not to exceed $655,032. Ms. Gonzalez, I think this is the earliest we've reached one of your agenda items.
Yes. Good afternoon, Honorable Chairman and members of the Authority Board. The current management company contract that we have in place expires at the end of December of this year, December 31st, 2023. It is customary that we select, we go and solicit the services. We did, when the term expires, we posted a request for proposals on July 28th. And we closed that solicitation on August 29th. In the submittals, we only received 2 proposals. 6 of our internal staff evaluated the proposals received from the 2 proposers. Unanimously, based on the written and interview responses from Falkenberg, Gilliam and Associates, they were deemed to be the most qualified. Staff is recommending award of a 5-year contract as noted in the staff report, and staff is available for any questions.
And this was considered by the Housing Commission.
Yes, and unanimously, they recommended approval as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any public comment on this item?
No public comment, Madam Mayor.
Questions, comments, motion from council?
I'll move the agenda item as presented.
I will second that.
Please take the vote.
Councilmember Harnick,
Yes.
Councilmember Nastandi,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla,
Aye.
Councilmember Trubie,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Item 14B, introduction of ordinance number 1401, amending chapter 5.04 of the Palm Desert Municipal Code regarding business licensing and taxing procedures and making a finding of exemption under CEQA. May we have the staff report?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Richard Canoni, Director of Development Services. The ordinance in front of you tonight is an update to our business licensing and taxation chapter, chapter 5.04. The vast majority of these changes are non-substantive. As indicated in the staff report, this was originally drafted in the 70s, and I think the last updates were in the early 80s. And so a lot of it is just cleanup, reorganization. Want to point out the substantive changes include changes to the revocation and suspension section based on prior direction from City Council, authorizing the city manager to do that, as well as appeals still going or staying, I should say, with the City Council, giving a 15-day notice or requirement for the if that suspension or revocation would occur, and then there is a 10-day notice a minimum 10-day notice prior to scheduling that. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there public comment on this item?
No public comment, Madam Mayor.
Questions, comments, or motion from council? This is coming back to us in response to our instructions, so hopefully comes as no surprise.
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Please take the vote.
Councilmember Harnick,
Yes.
Councilmember Nistandi,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla,
Aye.
Councilmember Trube,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
14C, award contract number C45460 to Unex LLC for the traffic signal modifications and hardware upgrades in the amount of $244,995. Project number MTS 00001. Did I get the right number of zeros there? Mr. Chavez, the staff report.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, City Council members. I'm Randy Chavez, Deputy Director of Public Works. And this project entails catching up on deferred traffic signal maintenance. This is the first of 3 phases for the next coming year. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
We have public comment on this item.
No public comment.
Questions, comments, motion.
I would move the agenda item as presented.
I will second the motion.
Please take the vote.
Councilmember Harnick,
Yes.
Councilmember Nistandi,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla,
Aye.
Councilmember Trube,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 14D was to be award contract number C46400 to Sports Facilities Management, Inc. for the management and operation of the Palm Desert Aquatic Center. We have a recommendation from staff to continue this matter to the council's October 26, 2023 meeting and enable further consideration of all factors with a supplemental report by a subcommittee I have appointed as explained in the agenda. Would someone care to move the recommended continuance?
I will move to continue this item until the October 26, 2023 meeting.
I second.
And I perhaps should say, and I should move the item as presented.
Please take the vote.
Councilmember Harnick,
Yes.
Councilmember Nistandi,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla,
Aye.
Councilmember Trube,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Which takes us to public hearings. First and only is resolution number 2023-047, withdrawing from the Riverside County Library System, assuming the provision of library services in Palm Desert, and indicating our intent to establish an independent municipal library, budget appropriation, and transfer. I will open the public hearing and ask for the staff report.
Mayor and Council, Chris Escobedo, Assistant City Manager. In June, council provided direction to withdraw from the county library system and establish a city library system. Since that time, staff has been working with the city's legal team to draft the necessary documents to formalize that withdrawal, which includes the resolution before you this afternoon. Staff is requesting approval of this item to continue the process. In addition, we have before you the request to establish the current year budget. This budget will be the transition year budget to take us to full assumption of duties in July of 2025. With that concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Any public comment on this item?
No public comment, Madam Mayor.
This is a momentous step and an immense amount of work has gone into bringing it before us. So I think on behalf of us all, I can express gratitude to the Library Task Force for its work to date and continuing attention to this wonderful opportunity to provide our city with an excellent resource. Questions, comments, or motion?
I excitedly move to approve.
I'll second that.
I will close the public hearing. And let's take the vote.
Councilmember Harnick,
Yes.
Councilmember Nastandi,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla,
Aye.
Councilmember Truby,
Yes.
Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you all for your excellent work this evening. We will be adjourned.